if you feel like you don't belong in this world, if you feel like you have landed on this planet and you're like, what the am I doing here? Like, I don't fit in. I don't resonate with people. I don't understand what's going on. I don't feel like I can relate to what people are going on. Then this video is for you, because I have felt like this my entire life. From as early as I can remember, I've just kind of felt like, who are these people? What am I doing on this planet? Feeling like I'm speaking a different language to someone else. And now at the age of 33, I feel like I have made peace with being here and understanding that my mission and my purpose on this planet during this time is actually to just be who I am and to do things differently and to call in the other women who feel this way and bring us all together. So there are many theories around why we feel this way. If you're watching this, then you're likely, you know, a cycle breaker, an old soul, black sheep. There's many terms that we use, but somebody who's felt like an outcast their entire lives. Maybe you didn't fit in at school. Maybe you don't fit in with your family. You're very, very different to your mom and your dad, and maybe even your siblings. And even in certain friendship groups, like, you are a part of a friendship group, but there's a part of you that always feels like, I don't really belong here, or like, I'm just struggling to really find people who can meet me at my depth and like understand where I'm coming from, because you're such a deep feeler, you're such an empath, you're such a sensitive soul. And one theory for why you might feel this way is that you're an old soul. Okay, you've been to this planet before, you've done this a million times, and you're coming to the end of your journey, so you're tired. You're like, I've done this before, I've seen this before, like, my soul is tired and I don't want to do it anymore. That's one theory. And this is really interesting because my mom, who I don't really see as a spiritual person, like, she's become more spiritual over the past years, and I say spiritual in quotation marks, but she's become more spiritual because of my spiritual journey, and that I have brought her along for the ride and sort of told her what I've been going through, and, you know, she's tried to understand me. So she's become more spiritual over the years. But what's really interesting is I had a conversation with her the other day over dinner, and we were talking about me as a kid, as a child, and she said to me, it was so fascinating, Amy, because the second you came out, you just had your own personality and you picked everything up really quickly. Like, you started to walk and talk straight away, and you were such an outgoing person, and you were so like free and liberated. So they threw me a first birthday party when I was one. They threw me a birthday party because my mum was like, you were so outgoing. But then she said that everybody got there and I just went really quiet and reserved. And she said, I just watched everybody. Like, I just observed everybody. And she said, it was like I'd been there before. She said it was the craziest experience for her because she looked at me, this 1-year-old baby, and she was like, I knew you'd been here before. And this was like 32 years ago. So my mom wasn't like a spiritual person back then, but she just said it was fascinating to watch. And I don't know if I can say that I've been here before, but I definitely have felt like this is not my planet. These are not my people. This is not my planet. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. And I feel a lot more grounded in it now. Like, I'm enjoying my Earth experience a lot more. But for the first like 30 years of my life, I fought it. I fought my experience on this Earth, and I did not want to be here. And not in like a I don't want to be alive kind of way, although there have been moments of that. You know, I had a 7-year chronic health journey, one that I am still overcoming now, although I'm doing much better. But there were so many times when I was like, I literally don't know why I'm here. Like, why am I here? Maybe you can resonate with this. Please, if you feel this way, then put a comment below and tell me, because this is what I feel like I'm here to do. On my TikTok, the more momentum is building, is like the more that I spread this message of like, what the hell is going on, and like more of the like unconventional ways that I live my life and the unconventional things that I want from life, the more that I see there's a lot of us here. There's a lot of us, women and men, but you know, I'm speaking mainly to women that want different things and feel this way. So please let me know. Like, we need to support each other. So that's one theory. Another theory is simply that you don't feel like you belong here because you don't belong in the way that society is set up. Like, if you don't believe in old soul theory and you don't believe in kind of like past lives and all of this sorts of stuff, then you literally are just somebody with a very different personality to 95% of the population. You want different things to 95% of the population. If you're watching this, maybe you don't want to get married, you don't want to have kids, you're not bothered about the mortgage and like the suburbs and, you know, that sort of life. You want something different, you know, you have a different values and visions to your friends. And this is not to say that these things are right or wrong. Like, you're not wrong if you have marriage and kids or you want those things. But if you're watching this, you're probably drawn to this video because you want something different from life. You feel things so deeply. You have a deep connection to nature, which we all have, but most of us have just really, really forgotten it and just become so disconnected from it. Maybe you are someone who is more spiritual. You're into like kind of rituals and making potions and health and herbalism. You're someone who doesn't want to settle. Most people are in relationships that they're probably not actually really that happy in, and they're posting on social media that their relationships are great, but that's not how it is deep down. And you want something more. You're not willing to settle. Maybe you don't want the 9-to-5 traditional job. Maybe even though it's been such a hard path for you, you want something different. You want freedom to travel and you want freedom to explore, and you're a creative soul and you love to explore your passions, and you're just struggling to fit into this structure that society is set up where it's like, go to university, get a job, get a mortgage, get a husband, pop out some kids, and that's it for the next 50 years until you retire. And then maybe you get like a bit of freedom. And let me just say, I honestly strongly believe that most people are on that path because it is easier. It is not an easy path to choose to want something different to how everybody else is doing it and how society is set up. Is not. And I can say that as somebody who is 33 and is still figuring this stuff out. I'm still not where I would like to be, again in quotation marks, because it's like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. But it's not an easy path to want something different, because you have to go against the grain and you have to really fight for what you want. And I don't think enough people talk about this. You know, in the new age spirituality world, it's like manifest your desires and things should flow and things should come with ease. You're watching this video, you've probably had a ridiculously hard path. You've probably gone through chronic illness. You've probably gone through mental health disorders. You've probably gone through periods of intense depression and anxiety, maybe a lot of trauma, abuse, financial hardships. And so you struggle to resonate with a lot of people who maybe, it's not that other people haven't gone through stuff, but who haven't gone through these really intense experiences like you have, which shift your perception of reality, which makes it very hard for you to want to do the mainstream things. I know I've been through that, you know, going through 2 periods of chronic illness. Basically, I was bedbound overnight, like thought my life was over and nobody could help me. For a year, my whole life just completely put on hold, and I managed to heal myself. But what happened is I didn't get to the root. Like, I was still out of alignment, and therefore chronic health issues came back tenfold. And again, my whole life was put on hold. I'm now in a position where I'm doing a lot better. I'm still dealing with some stuff, but to go through all of that, and then in the midst of that, abuse, you know, financial hardships, losing friends, losing jobs, all of these things, I was in a position where I really struggled to resonate with people, you know. I struggled to go out and sit with people who wanted to just talk about like missed ASOS deliveries and like what they're going to drink that weekend and all of that surface level stuff. I'm now in a place where I can talk about that stuff. But for a period of time, I really struggled to connect with people at this surface level, because I was like, I have been through hell and back. I am still going through hell and back. And again, if you're watching this and you can relate, please drop a comment below. I'm super grateful that I'm out the other side now. And, you know, I don't love surface level stuff, but I can do it. I think there's a time and a place for it. We can't be going into the depths all the time. But what I think is really important on this journey, one of the most important things, is finding people who are on the same sort of path as you, which is the different path. Finding friends and community and connecting with people, even if it's through a screen, even if it's through you feeling like you see yourself and you'll hear yourself in my message of knowing that you are not going through this alone, okay? And like I said, you don't belong here. You feel like you don't belong here because you don't belong here for whatever reason, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you can't find your own way of belonging here. I used to struggle so much to just be here on this planet and exist. Like, I felt like I couldn't connect with people unless I was like literally in the trees. I still spend a lot of time in the trees. The trees are my girlfriends. The trees get me on a level. But I now can integrate in society. I am just so much more conscious about who I give my energy to and where I spend time. And I think that is key if you feel like you're an old soul, or if you feel like you are somebody who doesn't really resonate with modern day society. It doesn't mean that you have to go and live in the woods. It doesn't mean that you have to completely disconnect yourself from society, but it's being selective and finding the people that do resonate with you and just being careful about what you consume. I don't consume anything that isn't going to make me feel good. And that's not to say that I don't get triggered, because I still do. It's not about avoiding triggers, because our triggers are always showing us when we're not free. Like, what a gift. but I don't consume negative things. I don't read the news. I don't watch horror stories. I don't watch detective shows or anything that's going to make me feel weird. I don't read any books. Like, I stay away from that. I don't even listen to music that has sad or negative or weird lyrics. Like, I just keep my energy like really clear and aligned for me. And I know if you're watching this, you probably feel really sensitive to these things too. And let me tell you, there is a way for you to be and enjoy your earth experience and your time on this planet, even if it feels sometimes like you can't connect to most people. There are ways to do it. You just have to find your people. You have to find what works for you. You have to find your passions. And not many people say this, but I am going to say it. Like, if you want to live a different life, you have to fight for it. You have to put in the work. You have to be disciplined. There's this aversion to the word discipline. I like to change it to devotion, right? Because discipline feels like, what's his name? It feels a bit like Tony Robbins, a bit like masculine bro energy. Like, if you want a feminine version, change it to devotion. Devotion is choosing yourself, but devotion is not just massages and candlelit bubble baths. Devotion is, okay, I know what I need to do to get to where I need to be. I'm going to choose to show up for myself daily and do it. I'm going to do the things I don't want to do. I'm going to do the healing techniques that I know work for me, even though I find boring. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to eat healthy. If you're a sensitive being, if you're an old soul, you're going to need to keep your channel pure. You're going to have to work a bit harder than other people because you're so aware and conscious and your body is sensitive. You're going to need to be eating healthy food. You can't go out and eat junk food and like get off your face. Your body and your soul can't handle it, and you're going to pay the price. Again, I know this because I did this for the first, I don't know, from like 15 to when I got sick at 26. Recreational usage of things, a lot of drinking alcohol, a lot of partying. I had fun, don't get me wrong. Like, I'll never forget those times. Like, I honestly had a blast, but my body couldn't handle it, and it was like, no more. And so now I'm not perfect. I will eat donuts and like pizza occasionally, but I have to bring myself back into harmony. It's also likely that if you are resonating with this video and if you're feeling like, yes, Amy, this is me, like I feel like I don't belong, I feel like I'm here for something bigger, you probably are here for something bigger, okay? You probably are here to do something that's scary and out there and pushes people out their comfort zone and to trigger people. My entire life, I have triggered people. I don't do it intentionally. I am just somebody who's very outspoken and very unfiltered and very expressive. And people kind of feel a bit like Marmite about me. Like, people are either very drawn to me and are like, give me some of that energy, or they're a bit like, who does she think she is? Either way, I don't really mind because it's all just a reflection. And whilst also acknowledging that I am a lot and I have a lot of energy, like, that's true. I can accept that. But I know that I am here and my purpose here is to say things that maybe other people are afraid to say and to show up. They feel like they don't belong, and the people that feel like they've never really fit in are the people that are showing up and are sharing their message with the world and are putting themselves out there. And it's scary. It's scary and it's exciting and it's freeing and it's also like anxiety inducing and it's all of the things. But for me, there is no other way. I'm like, why have I been through everything that I have been through in my life so far? And I'm only 33. Like, that's not that old. The amount that I've been through, but what was it for if it wasn't to show up and speak to other people and share my story and make people feel seen and less alone? What was it for? And so the more that you go on this path and the more that you come into alignment with yourself, the easier this earth experience gets, because you realize, like, actually all that matters is my mission. And also because you know that maybe you're actually not from here, or like you don't fully resonate, you can zoom out and be like, yes, this human experience is hard sometimes, for sure, but also like the bigger picture is we're all just on a floating rock in the middle of space. And that's not to dismiss anyone's experience, because, you know, there have been times when I have really struggled to pull myself out of places, but we're not here forever, okay? And the way I always see it is, are you going to look back at the end of your life and think, oh, I wish I didn't post on social media? You're going to think, no, I wish I did. I wish I'd said what I needed to say. I wish I'd written that book. I wish I'd created more. I wish I'd expressed. I wish I'd danced more. I wish I'd put that out there. I wish I'd told someone that I love them. I wish I'd told someone I didn't want to speak to them anymore. Like, you're here to do the hard things that most people aren't doing. That's why you feel like you don't belong. And it's okay, because there is space for you here. And although a lot of the time you feel like, where are my people? Where are my people? They are here, okay? They are here, and they're waiting for you to share your message and share your gifts so that they can find you and you can interact. That's what I'm doing now. I want my people. I have my people, but I want my people. And I want to connect with people that are like, yes, I see you. I get you. I've been through that hardships, and I want to share my message in the hope that it will help other people in some way, whatever that may be. But they can't do that. People can't find me if I don't show myself to them. And that is another thing that I wanted to say to you. Like, let yourself be seen. It's vulnerable. It's icky. It's horrible. Like, what about people don't like me? What about people think I'm weird? What about? I get it. And it's not to say you have to show everybody all of you all the time, but you are going to be way more lonely if you don't show people who you are. Because even if you showed 10 people and 9 people were like, that girl is like a bit too much, she's a bit out there for me, which I get that reaction a lot, there's going to be one person at least that is like, she is my vibe. She is my vibe. The amount of spiritual spaces that I have shown up to, and I've just felt like I don't fit in because I am not the type of person who's just like, yes, namaste. That's just not me. It's not me. And so I'd go into these spaces and I would just be myself. And like, say if it was my turn to share, I would just share who I am now. Maybe like, I remember once like I randomly broke out into a Doja Cat song and everyone was like, it was, it was awkward because people were like, this doesn't fit the space. But it's like, but if I have to fit myself into a space in the context of spirituality, how is that any different to me watering myself down in school, with my family, online, No, I'm done. I'm done watering myself down. But what it has led me to, it shows me who my people are. I went to a different women's circle the other day and I was hesitant. I was like, I'm kind of over like the spiritual spaces now. And I went and I just showed up as myself. And I was just like, F this, F that, blah, 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 blah. And I was met with such warmth. And at the end, these 2 women were like, oh my God, I love you. I love you. I love that you don't care. I love that you've come up and you've just been yourself. Like, you are so my vibe. And it's like the more you do it, the more freeing it becomes, and the more that you allow people to see who you are. And if you are the type of person that is like more introverted and quiet and like, then embrace that and let people see that. There is no right or wrong. It's just being true to yourself and allowing people to see you as you are. And this earth experience is going to be way less lonely if you really let people. I used to get so upset, like, no one's seeing me, no one's seeing me, no one sees me. I wasn't putting myself out there. I wasn't showing people who I really am. I was hiding behind some like spiritual facade. No wonder I felt lonely, because I wasn't even seeing myself. Like, I was lonely within myself. So allow yourself to be seen. Take up space in whatever way that looks like for you. Express your art. Oh my God. If I could just say this to every woman over and over again, express yourself in whatever way possible. It doesn't have to be, some painting that's going to be hung in the Louvre. It doesn't have to be a piece of poetry that is going to be turned into a book. It can just be something that you put out there in whatever way. It doesn't have to be online. Maybe you can share it with a friend. Maybe you can take it to an open mic. Maybe you can take it to a circle or like whatever scene that you're sitting in. Maybe you can just say when you meet somebody, hey, like, I'd love to share this poem with you, or I'd love to show you this piece of art that I'm doing. But the more that you can show people who you are in whatever form that is, the more people are going to be able to deeply resonate with you. And you are going to feel like maybe you don't belong on earth as a whole, or like you don't belong in society as a whole, but you're going to find a way to belong, and you're going to find your crew, and you're going to find your rituals and your place, and you're going to be able to settle more because it's less, I need to escape the matrix, I need to escape society. Like, honestly, as someone who's done that, who's ran off and gone traveling and like lived in communities and things like that, that problem doesn't go away. You don't all of a sudden feel like you belong on earth because you've hidden yourself in a bubble or you've ran away from your problems. Like, they follow you. That sense of not belonging will just follow you into whatever scenario you put yourself into. So find your people, find your way of expressing, and find your way of just making peace with being here and being able to live your purpose, because purpose is going to be what drives you. Purpose is going to be what gets you up in the morning and drives you in this crazy planet with crazy stuff happening all the time that's so not aligned with who you are. There is a community out there that you do belong to. There are people that are going to feel like home to you and that are going to have been wishing for you to come into their life so that they can connect with you and are going to feel so much love for you. and there is art and purpose that is going to make such a difference in the world because you're different. If this resonated with you, please drop a comment below. Let me know how you found this. Come and say hi on TikTok, Instagram, whatever. Like, I love chatting with you guys. And yes, I will see you for a new video soon. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Big love.